Alrighty, hello and thank you for tuning in, everybody. I'm Michael Alder, and in this webinar, I'm going to be sharing with you the easiest way to get started in real estate investing. And if you're already a real estate investor, how to generate more passive income within your portfolio. So, for those of you that don't know me, if you're just stumbling upon this, my name is Michael Alder. I've been a real estate investor since 2008. And I've done every form of real estate investing except for commercial real estate. So to walk you through my journey a little bit here, I started out in 2008 after the market crashed, and I was wholesaling ugly houses in Cleveland, Ohio, and we were also doing rehabs and selling cash flow real estate. I've been the host of the Taking Action Today podcast, interviewing countless real estate investors across the U.S., as well as the Real Estate Strategy Session podcast, which it was a short, condensed version of strategies you can use to go ahead and scale your business. Now, the biggest part of my model years ago was buying these distressed properties, renovating them, and then selling them to cash flow investors. So I would buy ugly houses off of other wholesalers. We would market it and purchase properties off of Zillow, off of Craigslist. We would renovate them using hard money from our private money lenders. And then we would turn around and resell them to investors, primarily in the West Coast, that couldn't get the returns in their area that Cleveland actually offered them. Now, this model was awesome and we were able to scale, but we came into a slight problem. We were buying these ugly houses, renovating them, but you are in D-class neighborhoods and there is a high turnover rate. So as we were scaling, we were having more and more move-outs and we couldn't employ enough people. Now, while this was going on, I actually was in Nick Loper from the Side Hustle Show. I was in his mastermind just trying to figure out ways that I could generate more passive income. Now, Nick knew I was a real estate investor, obviously, from being in his mastermind. And he said, hey, I just interviewed this guy who says he has the best passive income model. He buys and sells raw land, blah, blah, blah. And it was in one ear and out the other for me. I thought it sounded like the biggest guru nonsense I'd ever heard in my life. So I went back to my cash flow model. I was doing what I was doing and making good money. But the problem was, as we were scaling and I could not keep up with staffing people and keeping up with the renovations and the move outs and the high turnovers and everything, I found myself taking on the rehab work myself. Now, I have no problem getting dirty. I am a contractor by trade, but I was finding myself doing $10 an hour type jobs that I really shouldn't have been doing personally. I had to sub those out and we just couldn't find the people to do it. So I'm cleaning up trash, I'm painting baseboards, patching walls, doing all these things that should have been contracted out. But since we were understaffed, I was stuck. And I remember one day being in a disgusting rental property we had just taken back and thinking, what was that stuff Nick was talking about? So I went back to Nick's podcast and I listened to the best income model episode with Mark Podolsky. Now, this was an absolute game changer for me. I love what Mark had to say. I actually reached out to him immediately after listening to the podcast there and had him on my show. Now, here is what Mark teaches. What you do is you find people that, in a nutshell, you're finding sellers or property owners that are behind on their taxes, and you use software, something like Agent Pro 247, to go ahead and scrub the list. You find out the people who have not paid their taxes, you buy the list, and then you create these campaigns. You could use stuff like click to mail, you could use yellowletters.com, and you create an offer. So let's say someone hasn't paid their taxes in Valencia County, New Mexico, and they own a quarter-acre lot. You say, hey, I'll buy your property for $100. You send them a letter stating that, and you send them out by the hundreds. Now, this model is great because it is the most profitable version if you're willing to put up the upfront work. Like I said, you go ahead and you buy a list of people that are behind on their taxes. You send them a lowball offer, sending that through, click to mail or yellowletters.com. And the people that come back and say, yeah, I'll accept your lowball offer. Boom, you just picked up instant equity. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and list the property on sites like Craigslist, LandWatch, Land and Farm. You could do a video on YouTube and sell it right off of YouTube. We do quite a bit of that in our business. Now, the downside to this model is it takes a lot of upfront work. Now, let me walk you back through this again. We buy our list of people that are behind on their taxes. Then we have to review the list and see which types of properties we actually want to invest in. Then we have to create the offer for each one of these properties. Then we have to go ahead and do our direct mail campaign and mail this out to all of these people. Now, I've done this and I've made a lot of money doing this, but it was a ton of upfront work, which I really wasn't interested in. What I wanted was a quick turn and burn model that I could go ahead and scale really quick and create more cash flow so I could get out of this renovation and rehab model that I was doing with these slum properties in Cleveland and get onto more passive, more stress-free models. Here is exactly what my approach was. I would go to sites like LandWatch and I would search out areas in the Southwest, just like all the other big fish were doing, and Florida as well. I would see who the biggest property owners were on these websites. And these, you'll without a doubt come across Land Century. They are one of the biggest landholders. And someone like Land Century, let me see if I can find this on their site. Look at this. Under $1,000 land deals. I would go ahead and review this part of the website. Now, I'm not saying I was actually doing business directly with Land Century, but people like them for sure. And then, you know, like a quarter acre for $299. Let's take a peek at that. Just make sure. So you got a $299 processing fee. So this is actually a $600 property. But let's just say for the purpose of this video, we bought this for $600. I would go ahead and make this purchase. I'd be all in for $600. I would capture all the information. Then I would relist it on Craigslist, LandWatch, and YouTube using all the information already here, but I would sell it with $25 down, $25 a month for 48 months. So I would turn this $600 property into a $1,200 piece of paper, a note, and I would get cash flow from this every month. Now, the beauty of this for me was it took out all the upfront work of scrubbing the lists, buying the lists, doing the direct mail, and everybody says, well, you'll make a lot more if you do that. But think about all the upfront work you have to do to go ahead and get profitable. That's still a lot of time you have to invest, and your time is money. So my whole model was, let's just find these big fish that are already doing this. Everybody needs money, no matter how big they are. And let's try and buy these properties that are sitting on their list that haven't turned over right away. And then I will turn around, remarket these, and sell them for cash flow. And that's what I created within the land flipping formula and myflippingformula.com, which is a step-by-step video and audio series sharing exactly how I locate these wholesalers, how I buy the properties, where I market them at, how I build my email list, and then I just keep turning them over and over and over for new cash flow. And then you could scale this as big as you want. Eventually, you will want to hire an assistant to keep you on track and keep you organized, because I'm the most disorganized person in the world. But there's a couple of ways to go about this. Now, I've shared with you some steps on how you can get started into this. But if you go to the landflippingformula.com, it'll take you to this page where you can get a completely free audio, basically covering what I just showed you in here, a little more in depth, and then it'll give you a free resources page on there as well. Now, on the resources page, if you found value in that and you want to go deeper, you can get myflippingformula.com, which is only $25 and gives you the exact steps that I do in my business to this day, where I'm finding the wholesalers, how I connect with these wholesalers, how I purchase their properties, how I turn around and resell them, how I do the contracts, every single step I do, how I collect the money and generate this big cash flow machine that I have going right now. So go ahead and drop by the landflippingformula.com. You can check out these videos on here completely for free. You just go ahead, you'll come to this page, enter your email address, and then boom, it'll take you directly to the page with all the resources on it, as well as access to my flipping formula if you want to invest in that as well. So if you have any questions about this, please comment below. I'll create a video answering your question for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.